Okay, I'm gonna this is almost a black, but some of these shadows are just so dark, and I think you're gonna see how the shape. Now the light is coming from behind and deep inside. It's, if you imagine these roses like a cup shape deep in, so inside the light isn't really getting in, so it's also quite dark, and the darkest part is actually right next to the lightest, some of the lightest edges there. Let me get fits a bit. And there's a lovely some darks in there. And when I put these dark marks right next to light, you're getting contrast, and you can see these, even though these are quite simple graphic shapes, you can see there, I hope you can see, there's starting to be an element of three-dimensionality. So here's a bright line, and let's put some dark next to that. And this is starting to make our petals appear. More, and let's get in a bit of that. More light. And make this edge brighter. Okay, I think this one, let's put some dark in here because it's really quite dark, and let's go. I think you're gonna appreciate this. Now there's a light edge which I'll get, and there's a couple little more. I think I didn't really do this one. Don't want to put too much of that peachy colour, but yeah. So I hope this is, just putting a little bit of that red around the edge. I hope this is starting to make a little bit of sense. I said on the Zoom, I'm recording this before the Zoom class, but on the Zoom we should have done just a drawing with pencil, well, you with pencil and me with charcoal, so you can see it on camera, so you should have a little bit of idea what I'm talking about here. I'm just going to check how well you can see this in the camera. Okay, good. You can see it. Great. So let's maybe work on this rose here, and then we'll probably leave it at that. For today. Now, the other thing about colour is I've got quite a few colour. There's yellow in the centre of this flower, but I think I'll just use the peach there because sometimes it's better not to introduce too many colours. Okay. I'll use some of this slightly darker. So and again, don't worry about getting everything perfect. What I'm just thinking of, these petals sort of, with roses, they sort of spiral out from the inside. So the petals are generally smaller, more closed up towards the center, larger, more open as you come out. So it's just, it helps to think of it that way when you're just marketing it. When you're just marking things in, you know, make sure these ones stay small, make sure these ones stay big. And they are definitely brighter at the edges. Now this petal here is actually really, really bright as I'm looking at, not so much because of direct light hitting it, but light is shining through it. And so the peach is probably going to look a bit muted, so I think I'm not you could say have a cherry, bright cherry or orange or pink, but I just don't want to introduce too many colours. Again, this is quite dark. I'm going to go back to the darks again. It's dark, quite dark in the middle. And it's these ones here, they're really dark. Some really dark folds because there's creases and folds, so they're in deep. These petals are in deep, quite deep shadow. And then just a little bit. And you know, let's get more. As I said, if it looks a bit strong, I can smudge it. And if you had, say, the water-soluble ones, the oil pastels, you can add a bit of water to them, and that would have the same effect of smudging. Now as I'm looking at this one, I can see in here there's lighter reds and things and so on. But if I start adding those in now, what it's going to do is it's going to start breaking up the shape. And these ones on the outside suddenly won't look as bright if I put that in there. We'll have nothing to tell the difference. So you have to, that's part of there's limitations because you don't actually have the range and you don't have the light to work with. So you kind of need to simplify the light and work in relative terms, like how bright is this compared to this, you know, and make sure you get these dark and light contrasts in at the right points and specifically where you want to draw the eye. I think I'm just considering how I would actually finish this now, so I'm slowing down a little bit because sometimes for drawing or painting to look better, you don't want to necessarily include every single thing. Like if you have lots of detail at the edges, that's where your eye is going to go. So often want to keep a bit less detail or less contrast around the edges and try to keep the eye focused in the center. So right now this bud up here is a focal point and your eye kind of comes around here. There's kind of, because this is so dark, that's kind of a little another focal, and then you can focal point and you can come across, and this is more dotty, so maybe it's gonna lead your eye back over that way. But there, yeah, I think if I, let's see, I'll make that what I might do is I might put a little bit of light, just a little indication of the jug here. work or not, but, and I just put a bit of colour for those stems. Don't know if I like that. So I'm just wanting to pop in a few of these. That's where that flower's gone over, so let's, again, I'm not going to pull out a yellow, but I'm just putting a little bit of peach there, just to show that's gone over. As I said, if you wanted to, you could pull out more colours, you could really keep, you know, you could keep working it up as much or as little as you want. The jar here is quite bright at this side, so again, we're not going to go into detail on how to paint glass. That's a whole other draw glass. That's a whole other story. But I'll just say a little bit of an indication there. There's something there, something that's happening. I think it's also very light under here, but just smudge that a bit. I don't want to draw the eye right down here, so even though I can see really bright light there, I'm actually not going to put that all in. So we want to keep the focus more up here, and with that in mind, I could actually add a little bit more light even up there. That's the light coming in the window up there, and even toned some of these back. So there, I think we'll leave it at that. I'm not sure if it's 15 minutes or I haven't actually checked the time, but I think that's enough just to give you the idea of how you can create form using light, and how looking around the outside of the object helps describe it as much as looking at the inside.